to go to Canada, whatever you take up there in American, they would multiply times 1.38. So if you went up there with 2,200, you multiply that times 1.38, that would give you $3,036. But let's just say 3,000. And you wanted 40 units. Dividing 3,000 divided by $75 Canadian would be 40 Canadian units of $75. And if you were to decide that you were only going to try to take 3 of those a day and come right back home, well, every $75 is basically worth $50 American. But if you were able to leave it in Canadian and just let that shit build, 75 times 3 a day is 225. Now that's Canadian. That's what it is in American. Canadian. American. That's why you need $450 to get a $300 daily. So, to do that, instead of betting 75, you would have to bet 150 3 times and win them to the good. And you'd have 450, which would give you a $300 take, such as that. So instead of winning 3 units a day, you'd have to win 6. But just doing that would give you 450 Canadian, which would end up being a little over 300 American. So what's my point in saying all this? You're basically saying you're betting $50 bets till you win 3 of them. You know, I agree with you to do that, to make that drive, time investment to go up there. From some people that might be too long, depending on how far away they are. But if you're able to do that every day for 30 days, you'd have $6,750. I think that's extraordinary. Now that's Canadian money. Don't get it twisted. But that's what it would be after exchange. 30 days just going in there and taking 3 $50 bills of American. Even though it's 75 Canadian, it might as well be 3 $50 bills. You take that every day. You do that for 30 days. 3 of them a day. Comes 225 times 30 days is 67.50 Canadian now. But if you wanted your take and you changed it back to American, it'd be $4,591. Don't forget, that's assuming that is all take. You'd still have all this that you came in with, in theory, should you be able to get the 3 to the good every day. You'd still have this that you started with from what was 2,200 American. And after 30 days instead, you'd have 4,591 plus that 2,200 you started with, which would give you 6,800 or so. The problem is to change your money back into American. It's not quite that simple. Because if you were, excuse this, if you were to take that money and change it right back, well, first of all, it'd be 1.38 to get that to that. Okay? And if you wanted to right away say, yeah, I changed my mind, I want to go home. Well, guess what? This is what happens. You want to change that right back? They give you a worse exchange. You're cutting yourself off like $135 walking in the door just to exchange money. Ain't that a bitch? So here's what I propose. Never exchange it again. The only stuff you exchange is to take. You keep this part of your bankroll in Canadian permanently. You never take that out. That's your base. That stays in Canadian, and then you don't worry about the exchange ever again. You should never go below this, in theory. So, you get it up this far. You know, these steps. I mean, it's all the same thing, really. Just showing you what it equates to. So you start with the 2200. The exchange rate is 1.38, so they give you 3,036 Canadian for your 2200 American. So we just round that down to 3,000, then make it 40 even units of 75. You collect three $75 units a day, which is the equivalency of three $50 American units a day. Not a big deal. It'd be $225. So, you know, if you were just in an American casino, you can just do this equation with 40 $50 units, which effectively would be 2,000, right? But I'm just saying, maybe you live somewhere where they don't have American casinos on your side of the border, and you got to go up north. Well, this is your option. So, 75 times 3 a day is 225. If you were to take and say, I just want my money in American right now, well, that's what it would be. You'd get $150 a day. Doesn't sound like a lot. But if you were to take twice that take, you'd have the 450, which would be 300 a day. Just depends how long you want to be there. How many shoes do you want to play? They're not all going to be winners either, right? Some of them are going to be a struggle bus. We know that. But you know how you make it simple? You leave with the winners. You get the win, you get the win, you get the win, you get out on 3 separate shoes, if that's what it takes. And that's probably what I recommend. I know there's things we can play on that can win over and over again. I get it. That's how they get us. Don't get got. Right? Play this like it's a game. Don't get got. So, if you were to do this, not that, but if you were to do just the 3 units, not this, but if you were to do the 225, right, which was back here, oops, I didn't know I could do that, 225, it'd be 75 times 3, it'd be 225, you do that 3 times a day, for 30 days, 6,750. That sounds like a lot until you do this. But you might remember, I said if you wanted to start with something small, and you started it with $50 units, and you got 3 of those a day for 150, I'm pretty sure you can multiply 15 times 3. That's 45. We'll add a couple zeros. There you are. That's what this is. Just taking $3 $50 bills a day and walking out saying, I'm good. Walking right the fuck out. Have almost $4,600 American after exchange. Fucked up. And if you're doing it in America, you'd still have 4,500. Whatever. You know. Give or take. That's what this number would be. So, do that for 3 months. You have 13,775. That's fucked up. Just winning a few $50 bills a day, and 3 months later you got 13,700. That's what it would be if you didn't exchange it. That's what it would be after exchange. You know, you'd have 6,750 divided by the 1.47, which would be this, right? But then you do it times 3 months, and it would be that. So that would be 1 month. That would be 3 months. 2 months would be somewhere around $9,000, right? Okay. So then this is what it would be if you said, fuck it, I'm not even going to change it to American until I'm good and ready. I'm just going to leave it in that. Well, that's how much you'd have over time. You know, keeping that shit to the side somewhere over 3 months, that's what you'd have. I think that's outstanding. Even if it is Canadian, fuck it. Because now what? You add your original bankroll to that, and that's what you have in Canadian altogether. So I don't have any more pictures to show after that. But 23,250. Okay. If you wanted to divide that by 40 units, look what your unit size would be. Now, do I recommend that? No. No. You just worked hard for that bitch for 3 months straight. I'm not going to give all four. I mean, what if you had a rough goal? And I'm telling you what, you go from playing 50s to 10x that, you're going to be testing your heart, man. I don't recommend that. So here's a better idea. This take here is effectively, let me double check this. This is 3 months work, right? Yeah. No, sorry. Hit the wrong number. That looks more like it. Yeah. Actually, that's not even accurate. This is the take, right? Divided by 1.47. Yeah, that's the take. So if we just leave our original bankroll out of this, okay, and we were to say 13,775 divided by 40, I don't even want to do that. That would be American. You know, 20,250 divided by 1.47. Okay. I don't want to divide this by 40 is what I meant to say. I don't want to do 500. Now, what should you increase it to? I think if you've already managed to do this for 90 days without losing it and staying and getting your 3 a day and leaving, gradually increase it. Because you know what? It's all going to be cherry on top when you're done. So let's say instead of dividing by the unit, pick a number that we want to use. Our original one was 75. What if we did 150? Well, now, instead of doing 40 units, that's how I sneeze. Instead of doing 40 units of 75, now we have 135 units of 150. Pretty cool. It's effectively over 3 bankrolls of $150 units. Okay? So just remember that number of 20,250. We're using $150 units. Okay? So 150 times 3 a day would be the 450 that I wanted it to do originally. But the bankroll doesn't support that. It doesn't make sense to do that. Well, now it does in ACES. We effectively have 3x of what we wanted to work with originally. So, you know, unit structure wise, you know, we have 135 units. 40 units goes into 135 3 and a few times. Well, it goes into it over 3 times. It'd be 120, right? So 150 times 3 would be 450. Do that times 30 days. You have a lot of fucking money. You know, 150 times 3 is 450. Times 30 days, you'd have 13,500. Right? That's fucked up. Because guess what? When you were just doing 75 times 3 times 30 days times 2 months, it would take you 2 months to do what you're now doing in 1 month. Right? Am I doing this right? Times 3 times 30 days, right? Same difference, right? Pretty cool, right? So now if we were able to achieve that result over 3 months, now you have 40,500. Fucked, right? Let me remind you, this is 6 months total work. Now you add the other 20,250 on top of that, you have 60,750 fucking dollars. And what did it start with? Oh, started with this, which became this after exchange. So you could say we started with this. And, you know, after 6 months, this is your take. That's what you made in 6 months. I know people that don't make that in a year. You know. And the thing that's great is we weren't even being selfish because, I mean, bro, that was Canadian. Okay, that was still Canadian. I get it. After exchange, it wouldn't be that much. You know, whatever that number was, 57. Let's say it was 57,500 after all that time. If you were to go ahead and exchange the whole take right now, I'm sorry, I was supposed to divide it, not multiply it. Divided by 1.47. Ain't that a bitch? You go to Canada, you're paying commission whether you like it or not, right? Ain't that a bitch? You have almost 60 and it turns into 40, right? But, you know, don't forget when you first got there, you got to turn this into this. So they gave you a leg up at the start. The problem is, the more you make, the more you get taxed. I guess you could say. It's not really taxed, but it feels like it when you had all that and you give all that shit back because of the exchange and you're left with 39,000. But, you know, the way I look at it, like I said, is this. You look at it like it's monopoly money, in a way, right? Not that it doesn't count, because it definitely does. But you look at it from the standpoint that every $75 you're using is effectively $50. You want to see why? Because if you do that times that, that's the exchange to get your... Oops, I did it wrong again. Sorry. That's the exchange to get your money back in your pocket. So effectively, when we first started doing this, $75 was really worth $50. We weren't really betting $75. If you were a Canadian, it was $75, but if you were an American, you were betting $50 bets. So, you know, to do that here in America, you would need 2,000. Well, we started this with 2,200. So pretty close, right? Pretty close. And the reason that is slightly less or slightly more expensive is it's the exchange, right? It's like I said at the beginning. You change this 2,200, they give you 1.38 for your money, which is better than what you came with. Feels great coming in. If I want to change that right back, they only give me this. Now 1.47 is a larger number, but you got to remember we're dividing, not multiplying. The larger that number is, the less we're getting back. So 2,065. So as you can see, you subtract the 2,065, the difference is $135. Okay. So effectively, every 3,000 that we want to exchange, we're paying that $135 extra tax to get our money back. We'd have to make that much more, right, to get the full 2,200. I'll prove it. 3,036 plus, what was that number? God dang it. I want to be accurate. I'm just going to do this real quick. 3,036. And to get that back, oh, fuck. I'm sorry. Divided by 47. Okay, it's 2,065. 2,065. 20 minus 265. It's a $135 difference. That's what we have to make up in American. Okay. So we've already established $75 is $50 essentially, so it would be roughly 150 to get 100 back, and you need another 35, so it's probably about 175 divided by 1.47. That's actually more. Goodness gracious. I need like 215 divided by 1.47. I should overshot that too. 205 divided by 1.47. Yeah. So basically you would need somewhere between $200 and $205 to get the differential back on top of your money. So effectively we should need about $2,400 to get our entire $2,200 back, right? Oh. 3,036. Right. That's what our money was after the initial exchange of the 2,200, right? And then if we add the differential of that, when I divide this out by 1.47, it should put us back at the original 2,200, or very close. Oh, I did it wrong again. Hold on. So do that. Now divide it by 1.47. See? Very close. Give or take 30, $40, right? So you see, you'd probably have to make an additional $140 on top of whatever that take was to get your money back. So they gave us 3,036. So you'd have to make, to get your initial starting money back in full, you'd have to make an additional, I'm going to say about 140. Okay, divide that by 1.47. Oh, I'm still off. But you get my point. It's the tax of it. That's why when I divide that grand total after 6 months, and we're talking like almost 20,000 difference, it's because of this stupid tax. You just add zeros, right? It's basically an extra $200. So if it was, if we started with 3,036, 3,036, add another 200, let's say 210, okay. Another extra $210 would have to raise just to get this turned back into 2,200, I think. 1.47 is the exchange. Yeah, 2,208. So you would need about 210, like I said, I think. So you would need 3,246 to get your original 2,200 back when they actually only gave you 3,036. Give or take. You might have needed a few more dollars than that. It's probably somewhere around 3,250, right? So it sucks. You got to make a little more just to get yours back. That's why, if the differential was like 57,000 or whatever, and you divide that by 1.347, they're only giving you that. Our number was a little more than that. I'm just giving you a round number to show you. It's frustrating to look at that differential rate. Well, be a good boy in the States. You don't have to play in Canada, but I'll tell you what, I like it better there. I like the no commission. But at the end of the day, when you get this kind of exchange rate, you're almost paying commission anyway if you're an American. If you're Canadian, it's great, I guess. Except their money's not worth as much, apparently. But, if you are American, that's what you can expect the differential to be. To have that much. It's like a 20K difference. It sucks, I know. I use a more round number to prove it. I'll tell you right now, this comes out to 20K. Watch this. See? 20K and some change. So, that's why I know, every one of these is basically worth 100. It's easy math. So times 3, it's 300. That's why I know I need 3 of those a day to make a $300 daily. Because if I divide that by 147, it's 306. So that's how the math fits. I know it all works. You just have to figure out what you want to start with. If you want to do something closer to $100 base unit, Canadian even, well, then I'd say you'd probably have to go with this. Or this, right? Because you divide that by 40, you'd have 100. So $100 units, you'd have 40 units of 100. Problem is, you do that 3 times a day and leave. Don't forget leaving. You do that for 30 days, you have 9,000 times 3 months. We've discussed this. It's 27,000. It's great. Now, without taking it to the second step, just say you wanted to give that back and get your real money back. Well, that's all you're getting. Fucked up, right? You're basically losing almost 10,000 for every 30,000, right? That's what you lose on the exchange. And might you get a better exchange at home? Yeah, maybe. You might want to look into it. What your bank will charge you, except then you got to explain where all this fucking money came from, right? Especially if you're doing it all the time. But you're not going to do a number of this magnitude all the time. I'm just saying there's things that would, things that would hit the bank, which would flag you if you're doing it ever so often. So maybe you can get an account where they can just hold it for you if you trust the casino to hold it for you. I don't know. And then they can wire it to you or whatever. But either way, the bank's going to know. But, nobody's got to be poor anymore. We just got to not be stupid, guys. And like I said, the whole principle of this is it could start with something so small as this. Think about that. Just a couple grand. Get this whole ball rolling. But it's under the assumption that you don't increase your bets. At least not all the time. Like I said, you go to that 2-unit bet and you can't win it back to back to back. Well, now you're in a little bit of a spot, aren't you? You only got 40 units, first of all. So if you go to a 2-unit bet and you lose that 3, 4, 5 times, you've already wasted 10 of your 40 units. So I say a better way is just try to get 1 on each shoe. Like I said, you just try to get 1 on each shoe and get out. You got your 3, you got your 225 for the day. You do that for 30 days. Where is it? It's here somewhere. You do that for 30 days, you got 67.50. I mean, that's a $75 unit now. Okay. But that's just 3 a day right there. 75 times 3 times 30. It's 225 times that can't be right. I'll prove it's right or it's not. 75 times 3 times 30. Oh, right, because you're carrying down the 0. I couldn't understand why I had an odd number on the end. I'm so stupid. Forgot about the 0. So, yeah, 67.50. It's fucking crazy, right? In 1 month. Just not even being excessively fucking arrogantly greedy, just saying I only need a few little pills a day here. But you get that done for 3 months, bro. I'm telling you, you do that for 3 months and you're going to be like, why am I settling for just this and going home every day? I got all this money. I could do more. Yeah, you could. You could. You could let your money compound and work for you, but you could also get fucked. I would challenge oneself to prove that they can do it for 30 days straight and then duplicate that effort for a couple of months. Because if you are able to do that, the sky's the limit what you're actually able to do, right? Because the game doesn't change, guys. The only thing that changes is how much you're willing to put out there. Because you can. Not because you want to, but because you can. And if you can't, you shouldn't fucking be there. So you might as well have this then. Go in knowing that there's no way they're ever walking you to the door because you ain't got nothing left. Go in there knowing that you're going to get just this every single shoe. Just that. That's what I'm starting to do on that new thread of videos. Just get one every shoe. Trust me, it's hard not to just say it's hard to say I'm not going to do any more when you got a good situation opening up at the beginning. And you know what? I get it. That's what gets me fucked up, though. I'll have a shoe that starts out really, really good. And I'll keep fighting. You know, before you know it, fuck. And you always know, like, if you came into a shoe that was really good at the beginning, and you make 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 units, like it wasn't even hard. First of all, no. I probably wouldn't have left. But if you lose one, not the difference and keep the rest. It's okay to leave on a loss. It is. Don't be like, fuck that, I'm getting that one back too. No, just let them have it. Let them hold it for a while because you'll be back to get it tomorrow. It doesn't fucking matter. It's only one. If you only made 5 and you gave 1 back, that's still excellent. You only need 3 a day. If you had 4, that's still great. We take it personal, is what we do. I know I do. I'm the worst one. Like I said, guys, I'm the guy in the pamphlet. You kidding me? But we don't have to be. You need to be able to walk in there and be like, oh, great, this fucking guy's coming. He's going to take it and he's going to leave. He ain't going to sit down and play. Challenge yourself not to sit. Challenge yourself to get this. But one at a time. My thumbs hate me today. I don't know why. It won't let me that's why. It's not me. It won't let me put 2 decimal points in. But you get what I mean. Get 3 of those ones a day. 1, 1, 1. You could do that 6 times a day if you want. And if you have the shoes to do it on. Not everyone does. Not everyone has the patience to sit there and wait for new shoes to open up. So I propose just trying to do 3 of them a day and calling that a work day and getting out with it. Because think about it. What happens when that unit becomes something like this? Well, we're getting 3 of them a day. And we're doing that for 30 days. And we do that for 3 months. Hyperbole, is it? I say not. We're already proposing that we want to just do it with this 3 times a day, times 30 days, times 3 months. It's no fucking different. It's just worth less. Want to see something? The differential is 6 times more than I showed before. So we'll do that. Oh, look, 81,000. It just depends what you want it to be worth to start with. But you should start small anyway, because most people don't have unlimited disposable income to be throwing out there anyway. So you should start with something reasonable. Just prove to yourself that you're able to do this. Or 75 if it's Canada. 3 times a day. Times 30 days. And there'll be something very satisfying about that, knowing you're able to walk in there. You might have been out of there in like 30 minutes. But you got all that. That's not a bad take for half an hour. But that's the base level. What happens when we get up to like this level? We're doing that 3 times, times 3 times 30 days. Right? Jeez. Do that for 12 months. Telling you. But the smaller you make this number, the more reasonable it is to achieve. But once you're able to accomplish that for a very finite amount of time, that's the grind, right? That's the grind. Just getting that first 90 days done. 3 months is not a short period of time. I agree. But I know so many guys that are older. We ain't got time to fuck around and find out, right? We definitely don't got time to fuck it up. So, just keep it simple. Get step 4 for yourself. Okay? You start slinging these numbers around. Step 4 are going to be just fine. No question. Not that it should be necessary. You know what I'm talking about. So, yeah. I just felt like doing this. This is already like way too long. But this is the base right here. If you're able to do that and prove to yourself that I know some of you got money, man. We're talking about rolling in with just this. If you're an American casino, splitting it into 40 units, walking out with that number 3 times in a day. You get that a day, times 30 days, times 3 months. Now you have that. Divided by 40. You could do that much if you wanted to, but I've already said you shouldn't probably raise the unit that much. Because you don't want to give away 3 months' work, and should it be a cataclysmic failure situation, you don't want to put yourself in that kind of a hole. Because why? Now that you have all this, you divide it by 3. That gives you 3 bankrolls of 45 fucking hundred. You started with this. So if you have 3 bankrolls of this, divide that by 40. Now you have 112. Which means you're basically doubling your base unit to that. Yeah, if that's not good enough, do 125. I just like using a round number. Do this. We already know what this is, right? Oh, that'll be 30 months, sorry. That'd be fun, though. Times 3 months. I did that backward, but you know what I'm saying. 3 times 30, it's the same difference. Times 3 months. 27,000. Plus the 13.5. Right? Fucked up. So starting with 2,000 American in an American casino. 6 months later, you'd have 40,500. Just not being a selfish cunt. Just staying focused on the task at hand every single day for 6 months straight, and leaving. Like, literally, this whole objective could be done so quickly every single day. But you got to be willing to leave the money there and come back the next day. This is the foundation for everything that we're trying to do here. Every single day. Not this number, not this 150, not this 50, but this idea of getting 1 times 3 a day and getting the 3 units and walking out every single day. It's almost laughable to me that we can't accomplish that, because I know we can. Either all on one shoe or 3 separate ones. I know we're all capable of doing this. I just want people to think about that, because oh my God, kiddos, it's so powerful, because it puts a governor on your selfishness. It forces humility, and it undermines your own arrogance. Confidence, it wobbles a line between arrogance and humility. And if you go too far one way or the other, I mean, if you, I would say, the more you're closer to the humility side, the better off you are. The more you go to the arrogance side, the more likely you are to have catastrophic failure, right? But it'll be hard. It'll be hard, because the closer you get to this, you start to divide how many units that could be, you know. Give you 90 units at 300. You can. You can do exactly that. It'll be more than enough to do it. Start doing this times 3 times 30 days. Double your money in a month. You could. You could, as long as you don't chase when it goes badly. Because if this is your base unit, well, this is your 2-unit bet. Okay? What if you get stuck betting 2-unit bets for a while at that level, and you just get yourself in a rut where you lose 10 bets in a row? Well, now you're already down that. Well, you better subtract that from your total, plus whatever else you lost. You know, that's what you'd have left. If you were to redivide that by 40, well, you weren't doing 40, but by 300, now you're only down to 70 units. You'd be down 20 units, right? So I guess that was what I was getting at with this example, is that you want to try staying close to flat betting as much as you can, focusing on the whole number line idea of when we were kids. We had a 0 in the middle, the negatives to the left, and the positives to the right. And all we're trying to do is get a 1 positive to the good. It's not that fucking hard if you don't play every hand. I don't play every hand. You've seen it. We play the hands that make sense under the circumstances of the moment. It's going to work or it isn't. There's no magic fucking potion to this. It's going to work or it isn't. But we can try to play smart. If we keep it dumbed down, playing a consistent way, where we're just going to hunt for that variable until we catch it, and when we do, it's vindication that it worked. Accept it for what it is and leave with it. I know it's hard. I know we want to keep playing, but you don't always have to. I know I've said all this before. But I'm scared to even keep making videos, because I don't want to empower people to think that it's simple. Because you all know what I did to myself. I've done it all, and I've fucked it all up. I get notifications like that I don't want to see anymore. I know I can do it. I know I'm going to do it. I want us all to be able to do it. And I know there's not many of you that watch. Not yet. I'm sorry. I want y'all to realize it doesn't matter where you are in life. You can get this done if you just settle for this. You get 3 units a day. It's so easy to do. So easy to do. So fucking easy to do. Start with something that small, and you do that for 3 months. That's a fuck ton of a catalyst right there. I don't care who you are. That's a lot of money. I mean, for goodness sake, even if you just did this for a year, right? Right? It'd be $4,500 a month times 12 months. You'd have $54,000. Just getting a few $50 bills a day and walking out. I mean, if you were able to rack that up over 12 months, and then the next year you said, well, I proved I can do it every day. I can do more now. I already know how to do this. I just need the units to sustain it. Well, I don't know what I would divide this into. And I don't want to encourage anyone what the next level would be. But let's say that you were going to do 250 now instead of 50 a unit. They'll give you 216 units. We only need 40 in a bankroll. 216 divided by 40. Be 5 1/4, almost 5 1/2 bankrolls. Do this after 1 year of doing just 50 a day, 3 times a day. You'd now be able to do 250 times 3 times a day, times 30 days. You'd be making that shit in a month. Making half your bankroll in a month. Times 2. You'd have almost the whole thing in 2 months. Add that to the 54. Fucked up. Remember, I did what I did in 40 days. So that's why I know this number works. But I was betting a lot more. I'm just saying, humility. You gotta have the humility or none of this fucking matters, guys. Have a good night.